Welcome to session 3. So during this week, we're gonna sort of maybe touch up on what we talked about last week a bit, but I'll just and then we'll continue on and do the bits we missed. I do have well, down here we've got the learning program, which is under start here, which is here on the schedule. I do have a marked up one, so I'll just bring that up because I've got to highlight what we're going to talk about today. So I'll bring that up here. So today, here. So we're going to do polar tracking, object tracking, a few other little objects we missed perhaps, and down a bit here we're going to do a few other things like moving, copying, whatever. There's some commands that we haven't done. We've done a bit of rectangle last week. So it's a bit all over the place, but it's a bit from last week and a bit of this week. Finishing off from last week. Offset, fillet, chamfer, that's about it. And we should be up to date. And stretches here, there it is. Stretch we talked about I think last week as well. Some of you got that shape a little bit wrong, and so well, maybe stretch will help. It really depends where in that shape you got the wrong measurement. A shape like that is very difficult to fix if you've got something wrong, depending where it is, because it's got a lot of lines on the angle. So it's very hard to use stretch on something like that to fix things. Almost worth restarting from where you stuffed up, basically. But yeah, I wouldn't delve into actually trying to fix it at this point. Also, we have got it wrong in some way. But I will show you how to do stretching on like a floor plan sort of thing. Just be more useful, maybe. All right. All right. So let's go on. Yeah, because last week we did a bit of circle, and I showed you how to change the circle size in the properties in AutoCAD, and we did the rectangle. So we haven't done the polygon, for example, which is we'll find it. All right. So these are not actually this sort of things here are not. These are not. Or these sort of things are not in. All this sort of stuff is not in here. They're not in our what do I call them? Practice exercises PDF. So for anyone new as well, practice exercises are here. This is what we started with actually, learning the coordinates, which you did last week, object snaps, and we've done a bit of that, but the tracking part of it we haven't done, have we? Polar tracking and all that jazz, eh? That'd be nice. Okay. Well, yeah. We'll touch maybe over it, but all right. So I'm going to. I don't want to ask you into. Okay. So moving along. That's that. Okay. Then we've got this one here. Editing tools. Move, copy, and stretch. I'm just thinking perhaps what we'll do is just not necessarily open the PDF, but maybe download this exercise from exercise 3, the drawing file, DWG file, and maybe we can open that up and just play with that, learning some of these things up here, but then we'll just keep it to learn a few more things down here, like stretch and stuff. So use that pre-made file that's got some entities in there for us to play with. Download that file there. Move, copy, stretch, and I'll see what I think I downloaded that earlier. Here it is. So it looks like this. Now again, my AutoCAD is set up how it is. I've got the floating cube command line. Sorry, here. I've also got the properties. If you want to get used to having the properties there all the time, you can just press Control 1. Control 1, that's a shortcut to get it up. And then you'll probably be floating, maybe like this. You just drag it from here to the left, So we get that outline and then let go. Similarly, those of you that have got the command line floating like this, you can just grab it from the end here and move it up and then down again until it gives you that outline and drop it. Just a revision from the past 2 weeks, basically. And again, making sure you have in your object snaps down here, you've got that on, so it's blue. And on next to it, I've got a little down arrow. If you can't see where I'm pointing to, please stand up so you can see where I am. And just get that up. Make sure you've got endpoint, midpoint, intersection, extension, and perpendicular in there, only so that you're the same as what I've got here, so we're on the same page. And yes, and whenever you want to take a photo of something, just take a photo of the screen or your own screen. If something like it. Yeah. All right. Just next to this little button here, the object snap, there's a little arrow. Just click the arrow and that comes up. Another way you can do that is I think you can just right click and then over that and then go object snap settings. Another way of doing it. You can get up like a dialog box and you can just stick them in there like that. This is the old-fashioned dialog box before they brought up the other one. AutoCAD is a bit like an old cottage from the 1860s, and it's been extended to about 20 times. So they just add bits onto it, but they keep the old bits there still, So it's a bit confusing, but at the same time you can have many options. All right, so basically down the bottom here we've got if you go to the right-hand side, you've got the 3 little horizontal bars there. These are the things that I've got on in my status bar. Okay, so we've got the coordinates, the model space, grid, snap, infer constraints, dynamic input, ortho mode, polar tracking, object snap tracking, 2D snap, line weight, selection cycling, all the annotation ones, about 3 there, and then workspace switching, and then annotation monitor. And that's it. I'm going a bit fast because I've done it already 6 times, maybe twice. But I've got 3 classes, so I've done it 6 times myself. So that's that. All right, so has everybody been able to open up this particular drawing, which is pretty terrible because on a black screen, that color is absolutely terrible to see from your point of view over there. So what are we going to do about that? What am I going to do about that, more importantly? All right, I'm going to do something that you don't have to do because you probably can see your own screen, but you can't see mine. I'm going to change this blue to maybe a turquoise. First I'm going to turn the light off. That will help. Hang on. All right, so here we are. We are going to now, we've got a reasonable color happening up there. Actually, I might have told you to turn on this line weight over here, line weight, that one there. I'm just going to click it here, actually turn it on. It's here, I mean, it's visible down here, but it's not active. I'm going to make this line weight active for a minute, see what I get. Did I get anything? No. Why not? Nothing happened. Yeah, good question. Well, I was hoping it would have made the yellow color a little bit thicker for me because it's a line weight indicator, right? And it didn't do that because if we look at the layers in here, the default, which default is about 0.25 millimeters. So I'm going to actually set the walls instead of default. I'm going to make them something like 0.35 thick. Okay, and see how it already became thicker up here, so you can see it better. It's just better for recording at least. So the dialog box, this one here, just a layer. Come on here. Yeah, we haven't been in there really before, so this is it, and we're in here now. Congratulations. there's the layer dialog box. So go for that. Yeah, so there it is, just that button there, and I've just gone there and I made that line weight, and yours might be smaller or bigger, this column, just make it bigger so you can see. But yeah, I just made that 0.35. So if I go OK and just close that, it's just that I can't change that from here, so I can only do the color and that. So there, that's nice and bright. You can see it now. All right, beautiful. Excellent. So now, what are we doing? Back to it after all that. What are we doing? We're going to talk about, well, I'll put a couple other things. Well, finish off the object snaps first, I think. So let's do that first. So we've talked about drawing lines and that sort of stuff last week. So we'll keep that same sort of theme for now. But what if I wanted to, now this, let me just check. This is actually a polyline up until here, because if I just click it, it's all one thing. That's fine. All right, so what if I wanted to start a line about 800 millimeters away from that corner and at the angle of 35 degrees? So how can I do that? 800, yeah, doing it. Well, 800 is the length I want, yeah, sorry. And no, well, I can click on the corner, but it just highlights that. No, I don't have to explode the line, no, at this point. Yeah, that's the low tech, which is also the one that drawing a line is a low tech, which is your go-to if you forget how to do it the complex way, which is what I do usually. Sorry. About 800 away from that corner, about a 35-degree angle. Mm. We don't actually know how to do that yet, can we? We don't know yet. I'll show you. You can? Okay, how do you do it? No, if the angle is 35. Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh. Oh, the relative thing, yeah, it's on, yeah. Turn off the relative thing, yeah. So what do you go? No? Oh, no, it's backing out. Can't do it. Okay. That's a good try, though. Because, I mean, we're not talking about, yeah, if it was absolute coordinates, you turn that off, but it's not really absolute. It's actually relative to that corner there. So I'll give you a hint. It's got to do with shift right click. Oh, not that one. Shift right click on the mouse. It's got to do with this guy here. That's the one I want to highlight. Yeah, from, yeah. So I will hit the line command first. And then I'll go shift right click or type in from, enter. From. And what it asks me is specify first point from base point. Okay, so this thing here is part of the line command. It's normal. All right, so this first part of that question is specify first point. This is what it gives you when you go line. See that? But if I go shift right click, it adds, I just shift right click down here. That's the wrong thing. Try again. Shift right click has to happen in here in the black area. Shift right click and I'll go from, see how it adds that to it. So now it's asking me, where's your base point basically? Where are you going to start measuring? In other words, that's I'm giving it a reference point, like how we said last time, when you go at sign, it measures from the last point you clicked at. Basically, I'm giving it the last point I clicked at, which is I'm going to click now. Then it knows from there, start counting. So I'm giving it a new origin basically. So from here. So we're going from here. Click. Leaves a little green cross there for me at this point because I've got other things going on here, but it doesn't normally, I don't think. All right, so then it says, so we've done that. And then it says, That's it. Don't say anything after that. So now I've got to tell it where we're going. So I'm going to go at 800 millimeters at the angle of 35 degrees. Measure from 0. Okay? There it is. So it begins the line that far away. Now, the low-tech method would have done very well of drawing a line from that corner at 35 degrees and then catching onto that end and continuing on. Right? So the amount of steps probably about the same maybe. It just means with that other method of drawing a line there, you have to delete the line first or at the end. But now I can go off and say, okay, well, I'm going to go that way, this way, I'm going to do that, whatever you want to do after that. And enter to finish. All right. So try that out. It might be useful. Maybe not that often, but it might be useful. Yeah. So that's that. Give it a go. All right, guys. Just walking around, I saw some unusual things happening. But one of the things that happened is this: if I draw a line and go shift right click from, and I do the same thing, the result is totally different if you go at 800, 35, because then you give me an X and a Y position to go, and then you end up starting from there. So apparently that's, yeah, it's 800 from that corner and only 35 up, only slightly up. And for those of you that said, why do you have 100% crosshair? This is one of the reasons, because I can just line it up there and see, okay, that point is a little bit above that yellow line, see? If I had a little one that's only like, 10 millimeters in width, it'd be very hard to eyeball that, just see, yeah, you can see that. That's one of the reasons. All right. Oh, so, all right, so we'll continue on. All right, so the next thing is to teach you something else. Have we done this one here? Object snap tracking. I don't think we have. Okay, so I want to start. I want to put a wall in here in this house. That starts about 3 meters. I don't know how long this is, but we'll just measure it. The whole thing is 4 meters. Okay, maybe not. Oh, maybe 2 meters away. So it's just a little room. All right. So so if I just put my dynamic input off. Oh, here it is. All right. So I just put the dynamic input, but I don't really need it, but I just need because I like to work with it. So this is the one I actually need. The one next to the object snaps. Actually, if you have a look in the object snaps, we've got this thing here called extension. Let me show you what that does first, so you can know the difference. Okay. I think we might have done it before, but to show you what that does, first if I draw a line that's on a bit of an angle, like that. So if I want to draw a line, and I might just turn this off so you know that what's working is actually just that extension object snap. I'll just turn that one next to that off. So if I go line now, and I hang around there and I don't click, emphasize, I do not click, just hang around there and just move away in the direction of the line, guessing it. See, it's doing that green line. So I can at this point, being how far away from there I want to start. So I want to start, say, 400 millimeters. Enter. So that starts 400 millimeters exactly at the same direction as that line would have gone, without me extending that line out 400. So it gives me a point of where that would have extended out 400 millimeters away, and then I can go off anywhere I like after that. So try that out without having this thing on, this object snap reference lines thing on, and see if it works. But you must have this thing ticked for that to work. Then we'll try the other bit. Give you 60 seconds to try that. So we had a suggestion that you could draw a line at 400 up and then continue on and delete that line. You can do that easily with a horizontal line or a vertical line. or another one that you know the angle of easily. I mean, you could do with anyone really if you knew the angle of that. And I don't know the angle of that. And if there's a command called list, by the way, which tells you the angle. There's also the angle is should be listed here first. No, the lines is not. Is it? Angle 27 degrees. And here, if I highlight it in my properties, or if you haven't got properties up, right? Properties. The angle is 27 degrees, it says. Okay. So I could draw a line from here at 400 angle 27 degrees. Enter. I could. But look at that. Why didn't that work? Okay. Why are you thinking about that? Let me do something else. It's a command called list. Highlight that, LI for list, enter. Gives me the same information as this, but gives it to me here. Again, the angle is 27 degrees, angle in X, Y plane. Right. So the thing is, my units are designed to round up. So it's probably not 27 degrees, probably 26.51 or something. So I don't have the exact angle when it's like that drawn at random. But if you knew the angle, if you already drew this originally, this line here at exactly 27 degrees, and you knew that it was exactly, you could do what you said and draw a line. If you didn't quite get that extension thing right, you could draw a line, then continue on. That's why it was a bit inaccurate when I did this one, because it was just a total random line and it wasn't at any particular exact angle. Yeah. And by the way, you could fix that by typing UN for units, or you could go to not for the or you could go here and under drawing utilities units. You could fix the angle so the precision is not to the nearest degree, but rather to the nearest 8 degrees decimal points, or usually maybe 4. The length as well, the precision at this time is only the nearest 0.1 again, so that you've got to be careful what you're reading, so you can make that 4 decimal points as well. So if I list this now, allow for list and select this one, or just click it, doesn't matter. It tells me that the angle in fact is 26.7550, and it could, because I only did 4 decimal points, it could be 501 or something. Right? So that's why this other command is better, because it just picks up the exact angle. You don't have to know what it is. Send it out. All right. So of course, it works with horizontal lines easily too. Now we'll move over to the we'll graduate over to this one next to it. This one here, this ObjectSnap tracking, which is like a reference planes, reference lines. So when that's on, that works in conjunction with this ObjectSnap. So the ObjectSnap has to be also active. So, and it only works with the ObjectSnaps that are actually active, of course, like endpoint and that. So suppose I wanted to, so what if you had, let's just draw a couple of two new lines. So if I draw, and you do the same, draw a line like this, escape, and draw another line that's a bit like that shape. Okay. So what I'm trying to do here is begin a line from where eventually these will meet if you continue the line through. All right. So obviously they're not parallel, and these two will end up meeting at some point down the road. So do that first. So here we are. So that's on, and we're going to draw a line, and what we're going to do is just hang there, and we're going to do this extension. Now, how do I know what's working here? Is it this other one? Let's have a look. And then I grab this one and I drag it to that direction, and where they meet, I begin a line there. Now let me turn off this and see if I can do the same thing. If I erase that line, well, that works. Good. So that works as well. So that's not what actually did it? So that you could actually achieve that without that, that command. So that works the same. So it's not necessarily this that helped us this time around. Okay. You can do it even without putting that snapping thing on. All right. Where is the snapping thing going to help us then? If everything else seems to be working okay. Well, let's see. If I do that and that, would that work? Yeah. So if I did this, I want to draw a line that where that line is, but straight down. Ah, now I can't go straight down. See, all that does is only goes along the direction of the line. So to go straight down, I need these guys here. That one. So now I got a line. I want to go straight down. There you go. And then I let go and leaves a little cross there. See? Then I pick up this one and I go straight across. Oop, slowly. And where they meet is where I want to start the line from this time. All right, so having all that knowledge behind us is what I started to talk about before. What if I wanted to draw a line or a wall, begin a wall 2 meters away from that corner? We can do it now because we've got the tools. Well, of course, one way will be to offset, which we haven't done yet, down here 2 meters. The other way will be to draw a line down here, which is a low tech, and then come across and delete that line after. But the high tech way is this line. You go there, and now the extension, just alone that extension will help us here. We don't even need that for this instance. That extension thing is good enough because it's following the angle. So we don't even need this. Only situations like this one's here that are odd angles that we probably would need that. You probably can't have that off now that I showed you what it does. So I'll go here and go down now. Let's see. Has it actually done it? That's the question. See that? Oh yeah, it's doing it now. But then when I get far enough, it goes to midpoint and then it disappears. And and I'm not sure it starts at midpoint. So it's a problem. So the idea is to go get it to work, get it to stop happening. It's a bit hard to see on your screen, but don't go as far as the midpoint. Don't go as far as that. And once it starts happening, the little dash thing, just type in 2000, enter, and then it goes there. So I can start my wall from there and make the wall another, say, 500, and enter. Oh, what's that name? Oh, yeah, it works. There you go. And then whatever the thickness of the wall is, say 100, straight down, for it to do that. And then you can go back perpendicular there, for example. Something like that. No? I just made it 100. It's on an angle because I wasn't actually careful. See, I wasn't actually careful. That's on an angle. Let's try it again. All right, so delete that. So I draw a line from here down 2000, enter, and then I come across 2000 or whatever. So there's the wall. Then I've got to go straight down. I said 100, enter, and then back to the beginning. There. Now that seems to be okay there. So enter that. So we can just do that. Okay, so back from our break, our 10-minute break or so. All right, so these are the things that we're going to do next. Just a couple more things on the ObjectSnap world before we move on. And these are them. If I shift right click here, we get, we've done middle between 2 points before, I'm pretty sure. Are we not? Okay, so we haven't done that, I'll do it now. That's very useful. Line, and you want to start the line somewhere in the middle between that line and the middle between the end of that line there. All right, so to make sure you got this object, this thing off. We don't need it anymore. All right, so what you do, you go line, shift right click, and you go mid between 2 points. No, remember, not midpoint, but mid between 2 points. So what it's expecting for you to do is tell it where those 2 points are. And then it works out the middle of those 2 points and begins a line from there. So I'm going to say that's 1 point, and this is another. And it starts a line right from there. Imagines there's a line across here. That's a low-tech version. If you imagine, before this command, we used to draw a line across here and start the line then from the midpoint of that new line we put in, and then we used to delete the other line. That was before AutoCAD brought that in. Those of us that knew how to program AutoCAD, we actually created that command before AutoCAD had it. So I had one, but now we've got one built in. The point of that tool is to eliminate you having to draw that like that, and then draw a line from the middle of that, and then delete that. So all of that is done by going line, shift right click, mid between 2 points. That's 1 point. That's the other. It's drawing an imaginary line when I go click then it works out the middle of it and it begins from there. So that's aneurysm. They're all slightly different. They do slightly different things. All those things we learned today, those little drawing aids, you might say. Yeah, so all good. The other one is geometric center that I wanted to talk to you about. That one, unfortunately, requires that you have a closed polygon, whether it's a, like pentagon, hexagon, or an odd-shaped polyline. It has to be closed. So I can get you to draw something quickly. This is the polyline command here. Then, so click that, and just over here maybe, just click do an odd shape. Oh, there's a couple other things as well. Just do something like that, and then we're going to find the geometric center of that there. Everyone done that? All right, so now we're going to go, I want to draw, let's just draw something different, a circle. And I want to put the circle in the geometric center of that. It's asking me to place a circle. I'm not going to click anywhere. I'm going to go shift right click, and I'm going to go geometric center. That one. And then it's not finding it, right? Because I think it's there, but it might be down here. Oh, there it is. It found it then because I hovered over the perimeter. So just like the circle, you can find the center of the circle by clicking on the circumference. This one here, you can click right onto the perimeter of that, and it'll just begin it from there. So you just do a circle like that. All right. Depending on your shape, the circle might actually fall out of the geometric center. I don't know. Let's see if I did that. I'll try it again now. I'll leave that one where it is. I want to try it again with that shape. I just used the grip, this one here, and I just readjusted it to be something different. You don't have to do it, but you can watch mine. Draw another circle at right click geometric center. There. Did we start this? Go on. Sorry. Let's try it again. I'll just blow it up a bit. Circle, shift right click, geometric center. There. So this time, the geometric center is just outside my shape. So it's just the centroid of that. It can be outside the shape. It's possible. Anyway, that's that. You probably won't use that often, but I'll show you. And other than that, there's nothing exciting that you need to know from here, really. That's about it, the useful stuff. So let's move on and cover the rest of the stuff. All right, so the command, how about if we have a look what else we're doing so we can clean up this mess a bit. Moving, copying, rotating, stretching. How about if we clean up the mess? Okay, so how about if we just delete these lines from in here? Just leave the table there, that red thing. Sorry? Draw a square, a rectangle. Rectangles here. Delete all that too. All right, or you can just quit, but yeah. All right, so now if I was to move this table, unfortunately it's not a block, so it's many different lines. So I'll have to do a window over it, and I'll have to go move. And then it's important where I want to pick it up from, because because oh yeah, okay, the window thing, like that. No, I didn't do it like that. The window thing I did like this. I just click once, lift my finger off, and then click again. If you don't lift your finger off, you get that weird thing. So like that, and then go and move. M for move, enter, or just click the move up here. Okay. Now, if I want to place this at the corner, I want to match up that corner there with that corner there, is quite easy. I just have to pick it up from that corner. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to match up the corners. So, if you don't pick it up from this corner, you've got to pick it up from this corner here. And then you put it on this corner here. And then it's a perfect match. Right? So try that. So we'll just undo that. Control Z is a shortcut if you want to use that. It's a standard Windows undo shortcut. So now, what if I wanted to move this table, but I want to move it, let me guess, I want to move it 3 meters away, but I want it to go at an angle of 135. How would I do that? So highlight it first. I hit the move command. Then it's asking me down here, keep reading down here, specify base point. In other words, where do you want to pick it up from? Right? Okay. Doesn't matter where I pick it up from. Question. Before it mattered because I had to match up a corner with a corner, right? So I had to get the right corner. This time it doesn't matter where I pick it up from because it will just follow my crosshair wherever I go. So if I pick it up from here, see when I move, it moves with it. That's something else I didn't tell you how to do. See that? So it's relative to my crosshair. So it doesn't matter where I pick it up from. If I am going to put in an actual formula or a coordinate, it does not matter where I pick it up from. The typical thing that we usually would do is actually not go on an angle. It'd be more like go 2 meters to the left. So you lock yourself into ortho and type in 2 meters. Done. Or you might be move it up a meter straight up. But if you do an angle, you can still do an angle like you would draw a line on an angle. So if I was to do that angle, I'll go at what did I say, 3 meters, 3,000 at the angle of 135. Enter. So it's just gone at northwest direction, basically. Yeah. So it's like gone this direction. Oops. That direction. Move that way. Give you a moment. Let's just undo this again. Let me show you something else, and also I'm going to show you a new tool with it, which I'm not sure if I covered before. I don't think I covered this object snap tracking, not that one. This one here, Polar tracking. So if I got Polar tracking on, and I've got and I got in the arrow there. I've set mine to 45 degrees. So every 45 degrees, it by default is 90. So it means it's almost the same as ortho. So if I was drawing a line, it'll be okay to rub a band like this. But once I hit the an increment of 90, so 0 degrees, 90 degrees, 180 degrees, it locks in, but nothing in between. Right? In between is whatever. Right? So just erase that. So you can also do this. You can actually set it so that it has, oops, over here, it has increments of 45 or 30 or 15. So I've got 45. So that means now I can lock in my lines at 0 degrees, excuse me, 45. When you see that green thing, see, 90, 135, which is the angle we just did. Huh? See that? It locks in. So I could draw a line at 135 like that if I want. All right? Very handy if you're doing 45s in your building, for example. Or a lot of 30s, in fact. Yeah. So we can use that to draw lines with, right? But we can use that to also move things and copy things in direction. So if we're to use that tool to do what we just did before, this is what we'll do. We will click highlight this. We're going to go move, and we're going to go start from somewhere with a base point. All right, always. 90% of the people forget the base point. So click the base point. And see how if I go to about 130, it says 135 there. I got my dynamic input, by the way, on. So it tells me on there that my angle traveling now, with the green thing on, is 135. So once I got that direction, it's like going horizontal or vertical. I'll just type in 3000. None of these at 3000 angle 135. I'm already locked into the 135. So I just type in 3000 in that direction. Off we go. Done. Same result as before. No formulae put in. All right. Right. If you have a node angle like 136.5, you're going to have to do at 3000 angle 136.5. At least you know how to do it if you had to. All right. So how's that? If I told you then, here's this one, copy it now from anywhere at an angle of 3000 away at the angle of 135. There you go, done. Copied it, and of course, copy keeps going, but I don't want to do anymore. All right, easy. So, so that's basically copy. But what if you wanted to copy something using the geometry you got on there? What if you wanted to line it up corner to corner? It's not too different to move, eh? So it leaves the copy, it leaves the original behind. So if I want to do that, I did initially, but this time copy, I'll just pick it up from this corner like before and put it in this corner. And of course, it just keeps going, and I can put one outside the room if I want. Yeah, keeps going forever until you press escape or enter. Right? So I just copy that. As I said before, similarly, if you wanted to move or copy this, I move this one. But just straight up, it's just a matter of going straight up and going, I want to move it 2000. So that's how you use move and copy. Move and copy are very similar in the way they work. All right, so we're moving on. What have we done? Moving and copying. Rotating is next. Stretching I'm going to do first because everyone's dying to do stretching, right? And stretch. Okay, so let's do it first. Yeah, why not? All right, so here's a room here. And if we measure here, that distance from that corner there to that corner there, it says it's 2000, all right? Now, your client just said, look, I want that a little bit bigger, right? I want that to be 3000 in there. So what do? You say, sorry, I have to redraw the whole thing, or you stretch it, eh? So you stretch. Okay. So you go stretch. Now, stretch is a little peculiar in the way you got to click stretch. It's normal, but you can't, it's one of those commands you can't pre-select, basically. So you have to click stretch, and then you have to actually do a crossing window. See, that's not a crossing window. That's a window, right? That blue one. So you don't do that one. So escape, do it again, stretch. You've got to start from right to left, crossing window like that. You can't select individually either. It's a crossing window. Now, and I haven't got another pointer for people home to see, so here I can get on the board, but if you just imagine where that the right hand side of that green box is, it's got this dashed white line. Where that dashed white line is touching the yellow walls, those walls at that position will stretch, will rubber band out if we by a meter. Similarly, stretch can be used to compress. So if they said I wanted a meter smaller, at that position it will compress as well. Right? So what's holy in that window, in that crossing window, is actually the vertical lines that make up the wall. They will just move. The horizontal lines are going to rubber band, expand, right? So if we click now here, we've done our selection. The next thing it says, select objects. Right? Now that's in case you have forgotten to pick something up, I would say. It's actually a little bit of a trick question because if you did forget something and you want to pick it up individually afterwards, there's a fair chance the command will do something unpredictable or not work at all. So you've got to get, in this case, everything in that box the first go. All right. So I've got everything in that box, so really, the next thing is just press enter. I'm done with selecting. Done. Now, it says the user base point. Where do you want to pick it up from? Does it matter? No, because I'm going to type a meter. I'm going to type the distance, so it doesn't matter. But if I was to match, for example, that corner there with something over here, and I didn't have a number, it was just like another wall, I want to stretch it up to that, it matters because I've got to pick up that corner and put it into the other corner, right? I don't have to pick anything out. I've got a number in my head, so I'm going to go, yeah, or whatever. Close your eyes and just click somewhere. And then make sure you got your ortho on, there, ortho. I'm going to go straight across. I'm not going to go down there, straight across. And just type in 1000. So, there you go, you stretch. And to practice compression, we can stretch it back a meter and we'll go back to where we were. So go back 1000. That's compression. So we have just been updated that it actually works as well now. One of the very last commands to fully work. You can pre-select. I'm sorry. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. You can pre-select and then click the stretch and then click there and it does work. About time. Great. Thank you for that. Yeah, so it works. Sorry, apologies. Should try it out. The other thing I didn't try out recently, I was saying at the class last night, TurboCAD has this ability to do this, a different CAD program. What did I press? I don't know what I pressed. Okay, so this ability to be able to go line and then shift right click perpendicular and begin a line from there at the right angles. AutoCAD wasn't able to do this a while ago. You could only, with AutoCAD, for example, begin a line and then begin a line and then from here and then go shift right click perpendicular and go up to it, but not beginning from here. Even so, I found it a little cumbersome to work out how it all works. But anyway, you can attach a line and draw one. I just couldn't get it to draw at the right distance, would you believe, up. So I'm not sure how it all works. But anyway, that's another one that's new. Thank you for that. That's great. Okay, so now we know how to stretch. If you want to make a room, it does get complicated though. If you've got like windows, a window sort of around about there, you've got to miss the window and things like that. So sometimes it gets a little complicated. I think you can also, you should be able to do this. Oh, not that one. What is it? Doesn't it work now? The green one. You should be able to like customize it so that it. I've got to be careful with that. That table. I could pick up the table as well. Let's see if it works like that. I don't know. I think I missed half the table, but anyway. Stretch. Yeah, I did pick it up. Good. So I've got 2000. So you could customize it with that polygonal thing. Yeah, so I just, what did I do? I went, it seems to work backwards. So you could go around and pick it up like that if you wanted to get that much. But yeah, that's no big deal because you could have just gone like this, okay? Why didn't you just do that? Yes. I was just trying to imaginarily avoid something that was here, like a door or a window. So I said, oh, let's just do that. Right. Similarly, if you had a door here you want to avoid getting, you could go like that. I'm holding my finger down. Just grab that much, avoid the door, come along, get the table, and avoid that window there, for example, if you had one here. And then stretch. Right. So anyway, you could use that as well. Beautiful. All right, so that's we've done stretch. We've got two more things to do, and we've got a bit of time, so we'll finish by 30, right? Yeah. All right, so we'll go. Okay, sorry. Are we happy with stretch? Maybe. Yeah. It gets more complicated if there's other things in the way, of course. Rotating, yes, we can do the rotating. We've got fillets. We've got. Let's do rotating. All right, so how do we rotate? Okay, so we've got this table here, and we want to rotate it. All right, so let's get one that's more freestanding, like here, for example. So, well, actually, no, this one's all right. You've got one on that angle there, on that corner. Because what if you wanted the table rotated 90 degrees? So you got it there, but you highlight it again, and you go rotate. RO is a command, or this one up here next to the move up the top. And I want to rotate it so that that corner there remains at that corner. So I just want to flip it around. All right, so I'm going to say, okay, specify the base point. With the rotate command, just imagine that the base point is base point to pivot point. Where do you want to pivot from? I want to pivot from here. It's important that I pivot from there. Otherwise, if I pivot from over here, it will flip around the wrong way. Well, I'll show you what happens. If I pivot from here and I go 90, I can just type in 90. Does that? Right? That's not what I wanted to do. So what I wanted to do is rotate and pick it up from the endpoint there, rather. And then now I can type in an angle like 90. Or if it's exactly, if I'm doing 90s, I can just put the ortho on, and you can just move it using your crosshair. See, every time I move around, it just changes. So once you get it looking right, you can just click somewhere. It stays there. So that's what I'm trying to achieve. I wonder if it works with that other thing. You know, the restrict your cursor one. This one here, the polar tracking. Control Z. All right, let's just see if we can get it at 135 degrees. So if we do that, rotate, pick it up from the same corner. So same thing. I should be able to see. That's snapping at 40. What's it snapping there? That's 0. That's 45. And that's 90. So if I wanted to snap it at 45, that's handy. So I can put my table at 45 as well. Or how else would I have done that if I didn't have that tool? Well, we're rotating, and I said the pivot point is here. Well, the rotation command is actually saying specify rotation angle. So it's expecting an angle. So I don't have to put the at. I just put the angle 45 or 35, whatever you want. Just no at. Yeah. It's a bit hard to remember when you have to put an at and when you don't have to. But yeah, when there's just an angle required, it's just the angle. All right, so I'll undo that. All right, so that's rotating. If I highlight this, let's see, nothing happens. Oops, what am I doing? Why did I draw that line? Did I draw that line? Was it already there? All right, so that's fine. All right, what's the next thing? Everyone try rotating. You're happy with that? All right, so we're done rotating. Fillet and offset and chamfer. Okay. I think I've got the fillet offset and chamfer of it. No, we haven't. That's the college exercise. There is an exercise that we could open up that will make it easier to play with. It's under here. Fillet offset exercise. This one here, this TWG, fillet offset chamfer. Download that and open that file and see what's in there. Open. I got it in my downloads already somewhere if I can find my downloads. Okay, so fillet offset chamfer, this one. It's a mess. Looks like that. Again, I've got blue lines. I'm just going to go here and change the blue lines to maybe yellow. Okay. Yeah. Now we can play with this a bit. I just changed the color, but you don't have to change the color. All right, so what's the first one? The fillet. Okay, let's go fillet. There are some layers. Let's just work with the right layers. If you just click down here, you get the list of layers. You can see we don't have to worry about the 0 one because there's nothing usually on there. The other one is frozen here. See that little snowflake thing that's frozen, so don't worry about that. Bench top, we don't need. We don't need building elevation. We don't need chamfer offset. We're doing chamfer offset. We don't need that. I know there's nothing on the offset inside edge, so delete that one. And the wall hatch, there's nothing there anyway. And walls, through the walls. So we only just got the yellow one, or in my case, fillet offset outside edge. All right, so that's one purpose of layers. You'll be able to segregate certain elements that you want to see. Also, you assign line weight to that particular color or layer. So now we can do fillet. So fillet is here, right there. It's just underneath the trim in my case. And behind the fillet, we've got a thing called chamfer and blended curves, which I don't even know what they are. All right, so chamfer, fillet. All right, so go fillet. And this is where you need to have your command line docked and a couple of extra lines, because it says here the settings of the fillet are set to radius 0, which is what I want because I want to get lines to meet up at a sharp point, not at a radius like this is suggesting here. All right, we don't want a radius, we want a sharp corner. So radius set to 0 is great for us. So I'll do it again then. So I'll go fillet. All right, so now I want to fillet. Now you got to click on the bit you want to keep. Fillet that with that. I'm getting that. In other words, I'm not doing that because it's deleting the rest of that. So I want that bit and that bit. So what it does, it trims this one back a bit. Yes, that trim extend in Revit. Yes, in fact, I do call that tool fillet in Revit when I'm teaching it. It's what it does. It looks like fillet icon as well, a little bit. So let's go there. So we got that. So if you want to go fillet and do more than one, you go multiple down in the options. Click that and you go this one and this one. Right. Well, when you click fillet, right? This down here is called options. Then the bottom was Revit's options are at the top here. These are called options in AutoCAD. So multiple is one. You can type in M enter, click fillet, M enter, or just click on the fillet on the multiple, and then you can just go in and click on the bits you want to keep, like that. That's great. It's giving you a curvy one. Oh, I'll have a look at that. I think I might know why. I'll have a look at which one you guys are doing. All right, yes, you do get curvy ones. The curvy one will happen when, regardless whether your radius is 0 or 200,000 millimeters, it'll just, when you click on a parallel line, parallel line, like this one and this one, it'll just put a half a circle at the end of it. And again, this one and this one will do that. It's just a feature that it has, that's all. So you don't have to have this, the radius set. It'll just do it. So I'm coming to the next point of what if you wanted rounded edges rather than sharp points, right? So what do you think we'll do? No, using the fillet command still, not blended. No. You're on here and you say blended curves. I'm saying fillet, the actual command. We're still in the fillet command. Yeah. So within that's right. Within the fillet command, we click on the radius option, and we'll change it to whatever. And I don't know whatever to change it to because I don't know the scale of this. So let me just see what I'm dealing with first. So for example, that line is about 3,800. So let's go for a 500 millimeter radius, maybe. So if I go fillet, otherwise if I do a 5 millimeter radius, you can hardly see it. That zoom. So if I go there, I go R for radius this time, enter. Otherwise you just click it. 500, enter. Now I can click that and that, and puts the radius like that. Again, it finished. So if I want to do lots of them, I'll go fillet, multiple, there, and I go click, click, click. What if I did shift key and I went click, click? Look what happened. It ignored the 500 and just did a sharp edge for me. See, I got the shift key, click, click, ignores it. But if I just let go, it'll put that 500 radius in there. So it's a little feature of that command. Most of these commands have a shift key option to revert. So trim becomes an extend. Extend becomes a trim if you hold the shift key down. Just like if you locked into ortho to draw lines, if you click the shift key, it will stop the ortho and rubber band for you. If you're in the rubber banding option and you click the shift key down, it'll lock your crosshair to horizontal or vertical. So shift key is handy to revert things. All right, so how about that? So that's fillet. I want to show you one more thing with fillet. Yeah. All right, so let's do that. For the next thing for me to show you with fillet will be to get you to draw a polyline. Also, have I talked to you about J for join at all? All right, I want to tell you about J for join first. So instead of using a polyline, I want you to draw a bunch of lines. So I want you to draw a bunch of lines like this, like that, something like this, okay? And escape. So they're in layer 0, that's why I'm a different color, because that was my current layer. And what we're going to do is Well, if we just did it like that now, I mean, I know they're sharp points already, but if I wanted to have a curve on them, I'd do fillet multiple and I just click on each line, right? And I have to click on each two lines to get that. What if I went J for join first and turned that into a polyline? I'm teaching you J for join. Otherwise, I would have got you to draw the whole thing in polyline to start with. But J for join would actually create a polyline out of those bunch of lines. So if I go J for join or click the modify tool here, it expands out. Hold on. Down here, modify, there's a little down arrow. J for join sits here. I'll just type J and enter. It's quite easy. All right. So, and then I just do, I can do a window over the whole thing, but it will join these as well if I did that. Anything that joins up like this, anything that joins up end to end, it will make it into a polyline. So I'm going to want that. If that's the case, this is a perfect time for you to use this tool here that we hardly ever use. Perfect time for you to do that. So it excludes those other ones. There's a use for it. Right? So now I did that. I hit J for joining already. I selected what I want, and I'm going to go enter. Or I could have pre-selected, and it would have worked as well. Now this is all one entity now. How do I make it back into single line again? Excellent. X for explode, or that one there. While I got it highlighted, back to single lines. So again, as I said, I could have selected this first and then typed J for join. After I've exploded it, I got J for join, or hit the command, whatever. Now there they are polylines. Now if I go fillet, everyone got polylines ready? Excellent. We'll wait. Yeah, rejoined it. Yeah, you got to keep up with me. Like I've got a million miles an hour. Yeah, no, we've got to rejoin it, which is fun to do. And we're going to go fillet this time again. And my radius is already set to 500 from before, right? If it's not, set it to 500. It's already set, so I don't have to worry about it. All I'm going to do now is click on the polyline option. All right, we've done the radius option, we've done the multiple option. This is the polyline option. Click that. That's the polyline option within the fillet command. Click it, select the polyline, which is what you got to do next, and look what happens. One go, you've done the whole lot, 500. So it might be handy to know if you have that situation. I'll just Control Z to undo that. Question is, do I need to, if I had a polyline already, do I need to use the polyline option on it? The answer is no, because you might want to, for example, only do 3 or 4 of those 500 and leave the rest how they are. So if that's the case, you leave it as a polyline, hit your fillet command, leave that at 500, hit your multiple, and go, okay, I want that one, and that one, and that one, and that one perhaps. But I don't want to change the rest. So you can still select a couple, but if you want to do everything at once, you just go polyline option. All right, so that's interesting. I've never really tried this before, but what if I went fillet and I want to change my radius to, let's say, 1,000 and enter. And I want to also select the polyline option. Now that I've got a couple already fixed like that, what will happen? Yes, it changes the 500s as well, makes it all 1,000. Right? Excellent. All right, chamfer and offset. Let's I'll do the chamfer next. Okay, I'm leaving offset behind. It's important, but I'm leaving it behind. All right, let's go and turn on chamfer offset here. So do that one, and just turn off the other layers, even the layer 0. I think I'm turning it on, aren't I? What am I doing? I don't even know what I'm doing. Turn off 0. Yes, turn off 0. Turn off the other rest here, and here. So we've got the chamfer offset business. Can you also make the current layer not be 0? And that's by clicking down there and selecting the chamfer offset layer, just in case we have to draw something. We'll be able to see it, okay? Just if you, at the moment it's set to 0, so click on the word chamfer offset, and that will display there, which means the current layer is that. If I happen to draw any lines, they'll be visible. Because if I draw in layer 0, which I just turned off, they won't be visible. They'll be drawing it, but I won't be able to see them. Yeah. So it's a common problem. Yeah. So everyone got that? So let's go, chamfer. Excellent. What do you mean? You haven't got it? We can, yeah, have a look. Hang on. Okay, so we go chamfer. It's not something they use often, really, but we've got to cover it. So let's go behind the fillet. This is chamfer. So that just does, for example, usually puts 45s where there's supposed to be a corner. So a display. Okay. So, but it's got a few options here. We're going to do the distance option and probably the angle option. All right. So let's go distance. So what it's wanting you to do here, specify first chamfer distance. First, note, there's 2 of them. The first one is, what that means is, for example, if you can imagine an angle of 45 here, along that corner there, what that does, it measures from where that vertical line and that horizontal line meet. If they don't meet, imagines they would have met, where they would have met. So some of them, for example, like this one here, they're not meeting, so the vertical and that horizontal are meeting. So it imagines first of all where they would have met here. Then it counts back a number, whatever I put in the first distance. So I'm going to put in, say, 600. It'll count back horizontally or along the angle of that line. This line happens to be horizontal. So it counts back 600. And then the second distance I put in, I'll keep it at 600. Otherwise, I won't get an angle at the 45. But you can do anything. It counts back that distance 600 up and just trims things up and draws a line for you. So this is what we're expecting to see. So I'm going to go 600 for one, and I press enter. And I'm going to do 600 for the other. Enter. So again, you can do the multiple method now as well. Now that's popped up. I could actually select the multiple. You can. And I can try it on a couple of different lines. So I'm going to try it on this one. And I want to try it on this one. So be careful where you go. It's forgiving lately. It assumes you're going to put it on that one, even though I'm clicking down here, because there's not enough of this one to make up that. So here, yes. And then I'm going to go here and here, see? So just what it is, if I measure, if I just escape out of that and measure, it actually measures the, if I go perpendicular to that distance is 600 up. And then, so basically 600 up here and 600 across here. That's not 600. That's the hypotenuse, so it's longer. Right. How about that? That's chamfer. And notice there was a polyline option with chamfer as well. I'm imagining it works the same way as the fillet command does, so we'll skip that, all right? So let's go with chamfer again and do the other option, the angle. DHA is the short command for chamfer. Enter. I'm going to use that now. And I'm going to set the angle. This command annoys me because I click angle, and the first thing I think of, I don't read, I put in the angle I want to go. But in fact, what it's asking me is the length. So this one works a bit differently. It says specify the chamfer length on the first line. So basically, whichever one the first line is the one that I'm going to pick first when it's ready to be picked. On that line, it says, how far do you want to travel? You know how I told you before, this one here travels 600 up. Well, this one, we use the number I'm going to put next to travel back from that first line. And then it'll go at an angle or whatever I specify. So I want to use it on this one here. So I want to put in 2000. Perfectly good enough. 2000. Enter. And it says, okay, that's great. You're going to go 2000 from the line you're going to pick back, and then you're going to go off at some sort of an angle. What angle are you going to go at? I want to go 35. I love 35. I'm sorry. Okay, 35. Let's go 35. And then it says, okay, great. You give me all the information. Now select the first line that we talked about before, right? So let's pick the first line, this one. Okay. Select second line. You want to say as well? Yes, that's right. Second line there. So out of that, it counted back from that corner, in theory, 2000. And then that angle that is drawn is 35 degrees from that horizontal line. In theory has it. And then where it meets this one, it stops. So the length of that line it draws, who knows. So if I go measure angle, I have to, I might be able to do it. Angle, that and that, I don't think it will do it. It gives me that. So 145 out of 180, what is it? 35? Yeah, so that remaining angle is 35. Didn't I? Right? I've never ever had an example where I wanted to use that apart from traditional. So, but you might, who knows. So if we did the same thing here, we'll on this one, we'll go, we'll leave this settings as they are. Go CHA, and I'm going to click that. See what happens. It just makes it. It's just enough in it. There, so he went back and did that. All right, so interesting. Oh, hold on. All right, so we've got a polyline here, or you can actually draw a polyline if you want. You can just draw anything, it doesn't matter. We can just draw something like that. All right, like that. Do that. So we've got something like this. Right? So I just clicked on the polyline and I just click, 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 and draw something. All right, doesn't matter what. All right, so I've got one of these here, that one. And I'm going to do an offset using an existing polyline command. And I'm going to do an offset without the polyline so you can see the difference. All right? Yeah? Happy? All right. So have we got the polyline? Anyone not have the polyline? Got it? Got it? Everyone in? It's literally polyline, click, click, click 4 times. Yeah. 5 maybe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so let's go offset. This one here, underneath the explode. So offset is a parallel copy of something. So how far away are you going to copy from that? So the first thing we do with offset, we click offset, we put a number. We don't click anywhere else, although it is quite forgiving lately, and it will probably work for you, especially if you have the dynamic input on. And I'd like you to use the dynamic input with this. So the first thing we do is number. How far do we want to offset it? Okay, let's go 300. Say it's 300 wall. Type in 300. Enter. Golden rule, enter. Select the bit you want to, the original line, this one here. Then it says which side you want to move it to. So as I'm moving up and down, it's either the inside or the outside. Let's go to the outside, up the top. So don't go right there. Go right past. It only just wants to know an indication of side, not how far. Just click it. There you go. Done. All right. If you've got the dynamic input on, well, it doesn't matter if you have it or haven't. I can just keep going and making 300s forever. And I can get other things, make them 300 as well if I want. All right, see that? I can do lots of 300s, but I cannot really change it as such. Well, I can if I've got the dynamic input on. I can just click here, and the next one I can go, no, make that 200. There you go. It's having 200. But the next time I go and do it, it goes back to 300 again. All right. So you could use that to your advantage, perhaps, if you need to. So I've done lots of those. I really only wanted one, but anyway, just showing you. Yeah, contour lines for yeah, surveying situation. We'll use it for offsetting and to create walls as well, perhaps. Yeah, yeah. Later on, we'll see. Yeah. So yeah, contour lines will work if you know how far they were. All right, so that's good. Of course, it looks like that now, doesn't it? So all right, so that's that. So we've done that. That's great. And notice how everything is just nicely neat at the corners. Well, now, in the contrary, look at this one here. It's not neat at the corners because they're not polylines, they're lines. So if I was to, for example, explode that original one, explode here, X for explode or whatever, and do the offset again, don't change the number or the number. Oh, it hasn't got a number, it's just through. So offset and put in 300, enter, and do that. Look what happens. Of course, it you know does that. Yeah, there it crosses, but in a situation where, oops, where I was going on the outer, it's not long enough. But if I was going on the inner in this situation, it does do that. So really, you have to just run your fillet across that to fix it up with the radius of 0, don't you? Yeah. So you got fillet, F for fillet, R for radius, set to 0, enter, multiple M, and then just click, click, click. But it's a lot of work. It would have been handier if I'd known that I had turned it into a polyline before I offsetted those last lot. Obviously, like the previous lot, a much more efficient way of doing it. Yeah? So offset is very important. Have a practice of that. Make sure we can do it because it is very widely used in the creation of floor plans by offsetting lines to create rooms and things like that. Offset the line to create the width of a wall, say 90 stud wall, something like that. We'll do the 300 there, but yeah. How about that? Leave it at that. Any questions? Leave them until next week. No, you can ask now if you've got any questions. But otherwise, think of any next week. We'll be here, same place, same time. All right. Thanks a lot. You've been really good today. We've covered a lot of ground. Excellent. I hope people at home are managing all this as well. And we will talk to you soon.